Ryan Parker was only 10 years old when he lost his father. The funeral was over, the house was quiet, and everyone had gone home. That night, Ryan found his mother sitting alone at the kitchen table, staring at the stack of unpaid bills. She tried to hide her tears, but he saw them anyway. He walked over, wrapped his little arms around her, and whispered, "Don't worry, Mom. When I grow up, I'll take care of you." Mary smiled through her tears and kissed his forehead. It was a promise she would never forget. Life wasn't easy after that. Mary worked 2 jobs just to keep food on the table. She cleaned offices during the day and waited tables at a small diner every evening. She often came home exhausted, but she never complained. Every morning she made Ryan breakfast, packed his lunch, and reminded him that he could become anything if he worked hard. There were birthdays without expensive presents, Christmases with handmade decorations, and summers without vacations. Yet Ryan never felt poor because his mother filled their little home with love. Years passed, and Ryan graduated at the top of his class. When he received a scholarship to a prestigious university in New York, Mary cried tears of joy. Before he boarded the bus to begin his new life, she hugged him tightly. "I'm so proud of you," she whispered. "I'll make you proud, Mom," Ryan replied. College opened doors Ryan had never imagined. After graduation, he landed a high-paying job at one of the city's biggest financial companies. His intelligence and determination earned him promotion after promotion. Before turning 35, he owned a luxury apartment overlooking Manhattan, drove an expensive car, and wore tailored suits that cost more than his mother earned in a month. His calendar became packed with meetings, business trips, and late-night dinners with clients. Every Sunday afternoon, his phone would light up. Mom calling. Sometimes he answered. "Hi, Mom. I'm in the middle of something. I just wanted to hear your voice. I'll call you tonight." "Okay, sweetheart." But tonight usually became tomorrow. And tomorrow became next week. Mary never complained. She simply smiled, hung up the phone, and told herself that her son was busy building the future she had always dreamed for him. Back in their small hometown, life remained simple. Every morning Mary watered the flowers Ryan had planted as a little boy. She dusted the family photographs hanging on the walls. She kept his old bedroom exactly as he had left it. His baseball trophies still stood on the shelf. His childhood books remained neatly arranged beside his bed. Sometimes she would sit in that room for hours, remembering the little boy who used to run through the hallway laughing. Whenever neighbors asked if Ryan was coming home for Christmas, she always smiled. "Maybe this year," she would say. She decorated the house anyway. She hung stockings over the fireplace. She baked his favorite apple pie. She wrapped a small present and placed it under the tree with his name on it. Christmas came. Snow covered the streets. Families gathered around dinner tables. Mary kept looking toward the front window every time headlights passed the house. But Ryan never arrived. Late that evening, her phone buzzed. "Merry Christmas, Mom. I'm sorry. Something came up at work." "It's okay, sweetheart," she replied softly. "I'm just happy you called." After ending the call, she sat alone at the dinner table. Across from her was an empty chair. The pie remained untouched. Months turned into years. Ryan became even more successful. People admired him. Magazines featured his achievements. His company called him a rising star. Yet somewhere along the way, success quietly replaced the promises he had once made. Then Mary's 70th birthday arrived. She woke up early with excitement. She wore the blue dress Ryan had bought her years before. She baked a small chocolate cake and placed 2 cups of coffee on the table. She even left the front porch light on, just in case. Hours passed. Morning became afternoon. Afternoon became evening. Her phone never rang. Ryan had completely forgotten. He was giving a presentation to investors on the other side of the country. When he finally checked his phone that night, he noticed dozens of work emails but never realized what day it had been. Mary quietly placed the untouched cake into the refrigerator. Before going to bed, she whispered to herself, "Maybe he really is too busy." A few weeks later, Mary began feeling weak. Her doctor advised her to rest. She didn't tell Ryan. She didn't want him to worry. One chilly autumn morning, while watering the flowers in her front yard, she suddenly collapsed. A neighbor saw her lying on the ground and immediately called an ambulance. At the hospital, the doctors tried everything they could. Ryan received the phone call during an important meeting. At first, he ignored it. The hospital called again. This time he answered. "Mr. Parker, your mother has suffered a heart attack." Ryan's face turned pale. He rushed to the airport, praying the entire flight. For the first time in years, work meant nothing. He just wanted to see his mother. But when he finally reached the hospital, a nurse quietly lowered her head. "I'm so sorry." Ryan stood frozen. Everything around him became silent. He never got the chance to say goodbye. After the funeral, Ryan stayed behind to sort through his mother's belongings. Every room carried memories. Her favorite chair still faced the window. The smell of fresh cinnamon still lingered in the kitchen. Inside her bedroom closet, tucked behind neatly folded sweaters, he discovered a worn leather journal. On the cover were 4 simple words. "For my son." His hands trembled as he opened it. The first page was dated nearly 8 years earlier. "Ryan sounded tired today. I hope he's getting enough sleep." Another page read, "Today I made his favorite apple pie. Maybe he'll visit next weekend." Another, "The flowers he planted are blooming again. I wish he could see them." Ryan kept turning pages. Every entry spoke of love. Never anger. Never disappointment. Only hope. Then he reached an entry written on his mother's 70th birthday. "Today I turned 70. I baked a cake because birthdays are happier when you believe someone might walk through the door. He didn't come, but that's okay. I know he loves me. Sometimes life simply gets busy." Ryan covered his face and cried harder than he ever had before. Near the back of the diary, an envelope fell onto the floor. Inside was a handwritten letter. "My dearest Ryan. If you're reading this, it means I'm no longer there to hug you. Please don't waste your life feeling guilty. You gave me the greatest gift any mother could ask for. Watching you grow into a good man made every sacrifice worthwhile. Promise me one thing. Don't spend your whole life chasing success. Spend it loving the people who love you. Money can buy almost anything. But it can never buy one more conversation. One more birthday. Or one more hug. I have always been proud of you. I always will be. Love forever. Mom." Ryan couldn't stop crying. For the first time, he realized that the richest man in the room could still be the poorest when it came to the things that truly mattered. In the months that followed, Ryan changed his life completely. He stopped working endless overtime. He visited nursing homes every weekend, spending time with elderly people whose families rarely came to see them. He listened to their stories. He celebrated their birthdays. He reminded them they weren't forgotten. On his office desk sat only one photograph. It wasn't of an award or a business achievement. It was a picture of a young mother holding the hand of her little boy. Beside it rested the worn leather diary. Every morning before starting work, Ryan looked at that picture and remembered the promise he had made as a 10-year-old boy. A promise he had broken. One evening, he visited his mother's grave carrying a freshly baked apple pie. He placed it gently beside the flowers and smiled through his tears. "I finally understand, Mom," he whispered. "I thought success was about how much I could earn. But you taught me that the greatest success is making sure the people we love never have to wonder whether they matter. The wind moved softly through the trees as the sun disappeared beyond the horizon. Ryan stood there for a long time, knowing he couldn't change the past. But he could honor his mother's love by living differently. Because in the end, the most painful words anyone can ever say are not, "I failed." They are, "I wish I had one more chance."